Hey everyone, this is Mr.PvE. Welcome back. This is that little podcasting that I was trying. I think I'm gonna try to name it this. So it's gonna be Deadly Dad's Daddy Daycare. And then I'm just trying it out. I don't know if I'm gonna continue to do it or not, but this is just gonna be somewhere where I come to talk about video games in general, anything I'm playing at the time, little tips and tricks for people to kind of do good or do better, I should say, in the games, especially for new players. That's what it's going to cater the most to. I also want to apologize for going a shit ton. I used to do this all the time, and I would never do that, but it's been such a long time since I've done it that I got to get myself back into the rhythm of not doing that. So I want to apologize. And then one last thing, the videos that you saw playing in the background, I would not have been able to record any of that stuff or do any of that stuff without a very special person that very like life-saving, life-changing for me, being that I'm a stay-at-home dad and I don't have a lot going on. I found a community that just with open arms took me in and was like, let's game, right? And it helps de-stress and everything. So I wanted to mention Mrs. Gun 81 over on Twitch. I'm gonna put all her information on the description with links and everything to her, and I'm probably gonna put her Division ID badge. It's gonna have a QR code that you're gonna be able to scan with your phone. Like if you're watching on your TV or your computer, you can get your phone, scan that QR code, and it'll take you right to her stream. Okay. She's amazing. She welcomes everybody in. She helps people run the raids. She helps people get the EBs. She does both raids. The first raid is the one that gets done the most. And then the second raid is like secondary. So if there is time within the stream, she might do it. It's not always a guarantee. We have to have a certain amount of people that know it for it to work. And I'm saying we when I mean her. She usually waits till she has a certain amount of time, a certain amount of people that could run the raid before she actually runs it. So she is amazing. Mrs. Gun 81, you are amazing. And I really, really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting me and doing all that you do. You are amazing, girl. All right. So today I wanted to talk about PvE stuff, right? So there's a lot of things that happen when you're a PvE player, especially when you're a brand new PvE player, which is what I kind of want to talk the most about, is when you're new. And some of the things that I feel like you should do before trying to run harder missions and stuff like that, really, because you're coming in fresh. Your only experience is really the missions that you were able to do on your own on your way to get to like your Shade Watch. And then you run in trying to do like this harder content and you struggle. And although it's fun and a lot of people like myself, I did it when I was really low. Like I think I was 28 Shade Watch when the very first time that we ran the legendary and any of the legendaries and we passed them. I was only like 28. So it could totally be done. And this is back then when the difficulty of a lot of this stuff was a lot harder. People started making builds with what was it? Damage to elite, like protection. So they started taking a bunch of the gold AI out and adding red so that those builds wouldn't work as good. But by doing that, they made the missions a lot easier because reds and purples are a lot easier to kill than golds. So we did it when it was just golds, right? And so if we could do it when it was just gold, anybody can do it right now the way that it is. It's not really a big deal. But the reason why I say like hold off until you're a decent Shade Watch is mostly to get your experience, to understand the legendaries and other missions as well, like the raids. Also, you can go and you can get carried, and that's a very good way of doing it. You can find different people who are doing it. Like I said, Mrs. Gun, she does it, and she will help you through it and hopefully get you what you're looking for. But if you want to be helpful, if you want to be like a contributing part of the team when you're playing, you really gotta get experience. The watch doesn't matter. If you play for like 3 months and your watch only goes up 10 points, like it'll go more than that in 3 months. But let's say it only goes up 10 points. That's not that big a deal as it is for the experience that you got during that time, right? You start to see patterns in the way people play or the way the AI treats the mission towards you. And you also start to understand like certain builds only work good when other players are running another build, right? So to take this all back to kind of like the beginning, things that I feel you should do as if you're a new player, there's two things, right? So it depends where you fall. If you want to play it and get the full satisfaction of the game out of it, I would recommend that you start from the very beginning and you don't skip anything. Play it, get the story, understand the concept of the game. It explains a lot to you as you're going. And you also get to see a lot of pieces because at the beginning, just about everything you get is new, right? So you start to get an understanding for the pieces, what they do if you have more than one equipped. And then you start to understand like this piece could be really good if it had these particular attributes on it, right? Or this particular talent on it. So you understanding the way pieces works, a gear set or gear brands or brand sets goes a long way in helping you become a better player and building your character up for you. See, a lot of the things that make new players struggle is when you're playing with them and you're like, oh yeah, I got this build. It's like, oh, that's cool. You made that on your own. Like what's your play style or whatever. And then they tell you, oh no, I saw a YouTuber, content creator, and they were talking about how great this build is. And I'm gonna tell you right now, even though that, I do that and I have some builds out, if you go look at my builds and the way I talk about building your character is very different to what other people tell you. They tell you run these pieces. This is the best, gear and slot or whatever they say. Like this is the best piece you could run in this particular slot. And then you go and you run it, but you're not him. You don't play the way they do. You don't have the same friends they do. You don't have that dynamic to be able to run that build and get the most out of it because you're a new player. So you don't understand everything as much as you say like, oh, I do, I get it, I understand, I know what I'm doing. You don't, because you don't have the experience, and it's not your fault. You just literally don't have the experience. Now, if you have someone that you're playing with and they're guiding you the whole way, that's different. That's completely different, right? So that is one type of new player. And then there's the second type of new player who just wants to get to end game and start enjoying all the stuff that they've been seeing. And their friends have been telling them about like, oh, if you run this and you run that, you melt these people and you melt this and you do that and you do this. And those are the second kind of players. They go and they go all the way to New York right away. They have someone boost them up to kill Keener. And then all of a sudden they're shade level, right? Or SHD, the watch or whatever. The problem with that is when a new player comes in and they did it the first method where they started from the very beginning and they understand the gear pieces, how stuff works, they're going to have such a big advantage over you because you came in and you were given a butt ton of stuff. When you go straight to New York, you're giving a build pretty much. And then slowly you go in and you build. But the problem is like you already started with stuff. You already started doing a certain type of damage. So when you add to that build and you get that little extra damage and that little extra damage, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm improving a lot. But someone who started at the very beginning, they know like, oh, well, why go for a little bit of damage when I can just put this piece and have this attribute and have this mod. And now I'm like tripling or quadrupling my damage output. And they would know that because they took the time to play it from the beginning and learn everything. It's a lot more time consuming, but you learn the game really good. And when you try to learn everything off of a content creator, you don't always get a full explanation because you got to remember they're doing the best they can to explain stuff to you within a time limit to fit the algorithm to get them views and do everything they need to, because a lot of these people, like once you're up a certain a caliber of content creator, like you quit your job, this is your main job, or a good portion of the money you earn is through this, so you got to push videos out, right? So they don't have the luxury to try to baby step you and guide you through everything. They're trying to give you the information quick and dirty. This, and this, and this, and this. And a lot of the times it's really good information, but the problem is you're not that caliber of player. You got to remember, like the content creators, they put hours, I mean hours, into grinding. So they're constantly learning, improving, getting better, finding better pieces. Like, ooh, I got this piece that I didn't have before. I wonder how that would work here. They try it out. Nah, it didn't work. Or oh man, it worked. Let me make a build around this. Let me see what else I can tweak and make a better build. Why? Because they understand the mechanic of the game. They understand the building process, and they're able to do that. Now, if you're a new player and you jumped all the way up and then you're just starting and then you're going off of, and you're going off build videos you've seen off YouTube, like some of you might be able to pull those off. Like if that's your style of gameplay, if you and that person have very similar gameplay styles, like it'll work for you. You'll be 100% fine, and you'll come out there and probably be one of the better players. But the chances of that happening to the majority of you, it's not great, right? So it's better to just take a little bit of extra time and play from the very beginning and learn everything. And then once you learn everything and you get to New York, then you can find someone to kind of boost you, because by that time you know enough to where that section of the game doesn't really help you any. It's not beneficial in any way. It's just, now I'm trying to get to my watch, right? But to skip right to New York and then play there and then go right into things, it hurts you in the long run, right? So that's what I'm going to say about when you start playing, like the two different things that you can kind of do. And then once you're playing with other people, a lot of new players, and then this is from my personal experience, people that I've played with. So this is not everyone, right? Obviously I haven't played with everyone who plays the division, but I would say that about 80% of the people that I end up playing with when I'm playing with random matchmaking come in with some sort of armor tank build with some sort of shield. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because your survivability is up. So I don't got to worry about like, oh man, he's really getting pummeled over there, I should go help him. I can look over there, see that his armor is barely being moved, and be like, he's great. I'm just going to kill the people that are trying to get him, right? Like he's pretty much aggroing them to give you free shots on those people. And that's amazing. That's probably the best way to do it. But that's not the way people play. They come in with tank builds and then they run all the way into legendaries. And then like 4 or 5 seconds later, player dead. All the way out. And then what happens? Either they're there too far in for you to go get them, to revive them, right? So they're just there chilling while you and your other teammates are fighting that section of the mission, which is set for a difficulty of 4 with a player down, because that player decided to just run in there because he does it in all the other content and he's able to do it in all the other content. But legendaries don't run like that. Even some heroics don't run like that. They'll sit your ass down real quick. You gotta, your team has to synchronize. Like everything that you're running has to synchronize with the other teammates, right? So that happens. And then the other thing that happens is once they go down, they get mad because you're like, why are you guys not pushing? Blah, blah, blah. Player has left. They go down because they did something dumb, and then they dip out. So that section is locked to the difficulty of 4, and now you're 100% down a player, right? And you hurt the team because you went in there trying to do something that you can't do because you don't have the experience for it. right? Like and all this is for like new players. This is not so much for players who've been here for a while. Some of you guys are guilty of it too, but it's not as bad as like new players. And so that really hurts the team. And then another thing that they do when they come out with shields is if they see that you're DPS, and this is the most annoying thing to me because it happens so much. But if you're DPS and you're shooting someone and you've worked their armor down and they're next to you in cover, they'll pop their shield out, get it directly in front of you, and take the kill. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, if you want the kill, that's fine, but don't block me. Go to the left of me. Go to the right of me. Let me shoot someone else. But when you pop your shield 2 feet in front of me, I can't see past your shield. I can't shoot past your shield. So now you're slowing down the momentum of the fight and you're giving them back the advantage, because when you're pumping out damage, it keeps them at bay. It stops them from pushing. But the minute you let off on damage, they'll start to push you back. And a lot of times they get super aggressive and start nailing you with grenades and drones and the cards and everything. So you can't do that. It hurts the team, right? Like you really can't do that. If you want to get up and take that kill because you have so much armor that you can't push out that much damage and you want to help out and get kills, that's fine. I don't mind it at all, because at the end of the day, you getting kills helps us beat the mission. Whether at the end, when you go look at the stats and everything, you ended up getting freaking 100 kills and I only got 50. I don't care, because you know why? I can see the stat board because we passed the mission. But I don't have no preference on that. Go crazy, go ham, do what you need to do, but don't hurt the team by blocking players. And I've joined missions where it's 3 or 4 new players, or not 4, but three new players. All of them have some sort of armor build with the big shield or the half shield, the deflection shield, the firewall shield, like some sort of shield, some sort of armor build. Then they're running up to people's faces, completely blocking what's in front of everybody else, because it's 3 of them now. And it's like, you guys don't do damage. As much as you want to say like, oh, I'm doing this much damage over a DPS player, like your damage is like non-existent compared to a DPS player, and you blocking the DPS player's ability to shoot anything and keep the fight progressive, keep it moving, keep the AI from potentially pushing back. That's ridiculous, because a lot of the times they'll tolerate it for a while and then they'll just start bombarding you with grenades. They will make it rain with grenades. And no matter how good of a shield build you have, how good of an armor build you have, when you start getting hit with 5, 6, 7 grenades, you're going to go down. You know, and then if you don't have a revive hive, then you're down and out. And if you're playing and it's those 3 people, because I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. I don't remember their names. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't say them because they were all under 100. So they had these crazy ass armor builds. But what ended up happening was we were doing District Union and we were playing, and these guys decided to be doing the tank crap, but they were staying right next to one another. Like if it was Sparta, you know, like with all the shields and shit, like that's literally what they were doing. And it looked cool, but the minute the grenades started to rain down on them, all 3 of them got wiped out. Like they didn't last maybe 3 seconds once the grenade started. It was just like boom, 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 grenade, 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 and then fucking dead. All of them, all the way out. You know what I mean? So they were all running shields, and then the tactician hive, the artificial hive or whatever, the one that heals the skills when it hits it. They were running that to be able to keep their stuff going even longer, but that thing only ticks on you depending how high of a level you are, like your skill tier level is. It depends how frequent the tick is where you get hit by it, and it also Depends how much armor you get or how much healing you get for your skills. So if you're an all blue and you're running the tactician, you're only going to get that one skill tier from the tactician. So that's a 1 tier artificial hive. It's not going to help you much. It'll save you for like 1 hit, but after that, like you're done. It's not going to help you anymore. So that's the stuff that really bugs me. I think the best thing to do when you're playing with people, and I don't like this at all. I wish they take this out of the game, and that's the fact that you could look at other people's stuff. But if you are a existing player like myself, don't quit when new people join. Don't quit, right? Like, it sucks. It takes forever. A lot of them don't listen. They want to rush every single section, and they want to just like gun-ho the whole thing. That's fine. Let them do it. But go in there before you start and look at everybody's build. Because if you see like this guy and this guy and this guy are running armor builds, like I need to run some sort of DPS or maybe a crowd control to keep stuff moving to give them chance to wear down the AI. It's going to take longer, but you're going to go in there with a better of understanding of what you need to do to move, keep it moving, keep it pushing, right? Get it going, instead of you taking an hour because of what everybody's running and you wanting to run one thing that you will run every single day. Go in there, look at what they're running and be like, okay, these two are armor and this guy's skill. Okay, so I can go DPS, right? Be like, okay, everybody's armor. I could probably go DPS or a healer booster to boost their DPS, since they're going to be in their faces anyways. That way they can do more damage and kind of keep it pushing, right? Or you could be like, okay, this guy's a medic, but he's a really low medic, so I can't really rely on his healing. And then this guy's skill, this guy's skill. And then you could be like, well, I can go skill 2 and then just kind of let the medic heal us because I won't be popping myself out of cover. There's strategies that you can do for all this. Excuse me. There's strategies that you can do for all this stuff to be able to play with people who are really low and still pass it and have fun. You just got to be willing to adapt. And I feel like if you're a good player, a good division agent, a good just team player all around, especially if you're matchmaking, right? If you're matchmaking, it's because you want to play with people. So why not have fun when you're playing with people and see what's missing from the team and give that. And if you don't have a build that you think you could help the team with, then that's when I would recommend running your favorite build, the one that you're the most comfortable with, because the chances of you getting hurt or going down are going to be a lot lower than you running something you don't normally run. But if you happen to have a healing build, if you happen to have a tank build, whatever, run it. Even if you're not that good with it, you'll get better because you've been running it. You'll start understand, like, when I'm running this build, I can't go that way because the ad that's on that side will tap me. I can't push this guy because although I have decent amount of skill damage, it isn't enough to take him down right away. And that puts me at a disadvantage. You start learning the AI's patterns, and then it helps you, right? If you start playing and you already looked at everybody's builds and you're like, okay, this guy's a tank, but then all of a sudden when you're playing, you see that he's a tank, but he's not pushing forward. He's staying next to you and grabbing so much aggro that you're getting hit with grenades. Then you got to understand, I can't be around this guy. Let me move it out of the way. He wants to run it that way. That's fine. Don't be next to him. And if he keeps getting next to you, then just tell him, hey, dude, you're getting me killed because you have all this armor and you can survive it. I can't. Can you please not be next to me? Right? And then if he continues to do it, then on the next section, switch your build out. Learning to play with people that are like that don't care for anybody else, and you stick around and you play and whatever, like that's a lot. It kind of hits them a lot more than you leaving. Because if you leave, you gave up and they're like, haha, I won, right? Because they're obviously trolling you if they're doing stuff like that. They're trying to troll you. They're trying to get under your skin. They're trying to bug you. They're trying to ruin your fun. Because for whatever reason, that's what they want to do. That's where they get their kicks, right? But instead of leaving, look at what you have and see if you have anything to counter what he's doing to you, right? When that happens to me, I typically switch to my striker healer, because then I can keep myself healed even though they're hitting me with grenades and everything. I can keep myself healed all the way up and I'm still pushing out a ton of damage. And he starts to realize me standing here is literally not doing nothing to him. So he'll go bug someone else. And as shitty as that is, because now he's leaving you to go bug someone else, if you are a healer, you could throw your healing dive over there and it's going to heal that player. And then he's going to be like, crap, I can't troll anymore because this guy's, anybody I stand next to, this guy's throwing healing at, right? He's throwing healing so much that I can't troll the way I want to troll. And it's happened to me a few times where I do that and the person just leaves, because that's literally all they were trying to do was troll. So the minute you take their ability to do that away, they quit. And then you won that, right? As shitty as that is, as dumb as that is, you won that because you were the bigger person. And instead of just leaving, you're like, no, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna have fun. And I'm gonna do what I want to do. So you gotta really adapt to different things. And then that's a lot of like the regular missions, the invaded missions, the legendary missions. That's pretty much the plan for everything like that. Once you start going into like the raid stuff and the what is it, the incursion, that's different. Okay, you're usually going to have one person that knows more than the rest of the group. It might not always be the person who's speaking out the most, but just kind of pay attention to what people are saying. If you hear this guy saying this, and every time he's wrong, and the other guy going, no, it's this, no, it's that, and he's right, pay attention to what he says, and it'll help you stay up. It'll help you be a team player. It'll help you keep it pushing, and you'll have a better experience because of it, right? For the incursions, that's pretty much all it is. The incursion is pretty much a DPS check. Run some sort of striker on your build. Sorry about that. Run some sort of striker on your build, like a striker build, I should say. Run that, and then run your best gun, your ammo, or whatever the case may be. Run that and just shoot everything. It's literally a DPS check. You just got to push out enough DPS to keep everything under control, and then you advance to the next section. The hardest part of that whole thing is, I believe, when you get to White, which is the hunter that's inside like that little dance hall looking thing. And even he's easy. All you got to do, the mechanic there for that, is just kill ads. Once all the ads are done, then you, the person kiting him, puts him in front of one of the little things to, like the sprinkler heads, and you throw water on them, and then everybody shoots them until you get, there's a little tiny little white bar under his bars of armor. You just got to damage him all the way down or a little bit past that little bar, and then you move on to the next section. And you could typically do it in 3 to 4 runs, sometimes 5, depending how much DPS you're pushing. But just run like a lefty, and as soon as you see him about to get wet, throw a grenade at his feet while you're holding on to the lefty. As soon as it goes off, shoot the lefty to stack them, and then switch to your other gun that's actually going to do the DPS, and you just burst them down. Super easy. A lot of people like running medics there. You don't have to run a medic. The more DPS you have, the faster you'll finish it, and the less you'll need for a medic. What you could do is run a person who's using a survivalist, and they have that med kit that when they hit that med kit, anybody within a certain range of them gets healed. So the way that we do it to run it smoothly is, after every damage phase, and he goes to do that phase where he pops, we all run to the ammo box that's inside that back room, and the person wearing that build hits a med kit. He pops, all of our health goes down, but because he popped the med kit as it was going on, you instantly get all your health back. So you don't need a healer. You just need to all go to that corner where the ammo is and have the person running the survivalist hit that. If you want to kind of guarantee that you're able to do that frequently enough, whoever is wearing the survivalist could also wear that chest piece that gives you like a 75% chance of not consuming the grenade, and it also gives you 100% improvement on the specialty healing for your healer. So your survivalist's healing talent is amplified by like 100%. So you could use that, and that way if you use a healing kit, chances are it won't eat it, and you'll have more, so that if you take longer than like 3 or 4 rotations with the ads, you're guaranteed that you have that med kit that you can just keep popping. So it's really easy. And then when you go to the end of the incursion, I believe it's still like this. They haven't fixed it or anything, or I don't even know if they will, but just don't go out of the gate. When the gate opens, let the girl, the one with the flamethrower, let her come all the way in there with you guys. And for that section, you will need a pretty good healer. Someone who's running the gear set gets final measure. The healing one, the one that as long as you're close to someone, they heal you and then you heal them back. So it's like, it's just on a loop pretty much. Run the survivalist with that. Run a chest piece that buffs up everybody's damage when they get healed. And then, yeah, and so run that. And then that way when you're using the survivalist, use the seeker ball. And because you're all staying in that area, the seeker ball is going to drop, is going to heal everybody. And then because they're getting healed, even if you're not right next to them, you're going to get healed. And then anyone next to you gets healed. And then it just keeps bouncing off. So the seeker hive will actually last you a hot minute before you ever need to use a Kim. And then if for whatever reason anybody gets hurt really bad, you hit the Kim. And so that's the medic you need for that section. It's very simple. And then what you do is once she comes all the way inside, the chick with the fire, I think it's Martinez. Once she comes all the way inside, have all your guys go all the way to the right or to the left, the little small cage. Have and I keep looking up here because it's the monitor, sorry. But have everybody go in that cage so that she follows you in there. And then have one person on the edge, kind of outside, and then everybody shoot her. And as soon as she calls for the drone, that person that's outside is already stacked off of her. He turns around, pops the drone dies. Everybody full on DPS. Someone's gonna have the lefty throw a grenade at the fire chick's feet and just finish her off. And if you have enough DPS, you should be able to kill her before she gets even close to running up to the top of the steps. It's quick. It's like 3-4 minutes, if that. If you all have DPS and you do that strategy where you pull her all the way in so she doesn't have a chance to leave, to run out right away, because you're all kind of there dancing with each other, tangled up, and she can't really move. And the fire, because of the healer, is being completely taken out of the equation. It doesn't do anything. And her only damage is when she swings at you. But because you're healing so much, she swings at you, hits somebody, procs the seeker ball, it heals them, therefore healing the medic, therefore the medic pushes out healing, heals everybody else, including the original person who started the healing loop. So you're just like constantly pushing all this healing that they can literally do nothing against, right? And then everybody else has their DPS check build on, right? Like the tanky, the most DPS build that you can run, glass cannon or whatever, it don't fucking matter. Run it right there. And then you just burst her butt down. As she's trying to run, she'll get like maybe halfway if you have enough DPS, and then you'll drop her and she's done. And then what you do is for the guy, which I think he might be Martinez, I don't remember, but the little guy, the little one of the two is the guy. So what you do for him is you let him dance. He's going to be dancing around. He's going to be throwing drones. He's going to be throwing sniper turrets. Yeah. So he's going to be throwing his drones. and sniper turrets and stuff like that. When you're in there, they literally don't do nothing to you. As soon as you pass a little bit in front of where the line is for where the gate opens, those drones will hit you. So don't go out there. Just stay in the back and use those drones to keep your stacks up on your strikers. You don't need to shoot the ads. Like, there'll be ads that kind of run in there. You stack on them and you stack on drones, but the ads that are out, don't shoot them. Because if you shoot them, it's going to spawn more ads in. So don't shoot them. Just let them dance out there. And whenever you see her, shoot her. But don't shoot her so much that you make her drop her healing way out there. Eventually, you shooting her enough is going to piss her off, and he's going to run up to you and get right in front of your face, right in front of those doors. And then you just, someone can foam them. Another person throws a grenade to apply the lefty. And then everybody even the medic, everybody just starts dumping damage into her. She'll drop the box. You damage the box out right away. And then you can burst her down. Like that whole thing takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, that section. There's other ways of doing it where you could do it a lot faster. But when I see those methods, the biggest issue is if you mess up, it's a wipe. You have to do that flawless for that method to work. And this method guarantees you pass it every single time. And if you're good with it, like we've done them to where we're getting them under like consistently under like 20, 25 minutes. Like it stays within there, within 20, 25 minutes to run them. We could probably do it faster if we were like, let's do a speed run or whatever. But we don't play that way. We play to have fun. We're laughing at one another when we get dropped, or especially if a red drops you. There's a video I have on my channel where I didn't see this red and I turned the corner and he freaking kicks me in the face and messes me up. Then one of the dad's bar shoots his tank and blows him up. So I had so little health that dropped me. And I had to use my hive to get up. And he starts laughing. And I'm like, God damn it, the thing freaking killed me because you shot the fire tank or whatever. And he's like, you deserve it, you dumbass. That's how we are. And it's more fun like that. When you take the game too serious and you're like, do this and do that, and you can only do this, and don't run this build, and trust me, I know what I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. It ruins the experience of the game. It ruins the fun. Just go in there, do your best. And if you have good players with you, they'll adapt to the way you play. And then you adapt to the way they play. Not even wanting to. But you start noticing, like, this person likes to hang out over here, so I'm going to hang out over here. Right? This person always runs in a circle, so I'm going to run in a circle behind them so we can be killing ads or whatever. He always goes to the right. Those two always go to the left, so I'm going to go to the right to help him out. Like, even without wanting, you just kind of see what's going on, and you adapt, and it eventually becomes easy. And that mission is like, a lot of people struggle with it and have a really difficult time with it. But it's honestly really, really simple. The very first section, a lot of people like to go and throw decoys. And then the turrets shoot the decoys and you're able to go up there and shoot the thing. And that's a good, it works. It's a good way of doing it. The way we do it is we EMP them. Because when you EMP them, the gun completely goes down. It doesn't shoot. So it won't accidentally hit someone if you run in front of the decoy and grab its aggro. It won't shoot you because it's 100% down. And depending how much skill and duration you have on what you're running is how long you'll take that turret down. And I usually run it with a build that has, I think it's like 3 yellows, or a three-tier skill build, and the rest is striker. So I just go over there and shoot it with the EMP sticky, and boom, down for like, I think it's like 5 or 6 seconds. So it's enough time for my guys to get there, jump up there, shoot the gun out, and then we run down. You never run across on the top. You always go back down the stairs, run behind it, and go back up the stairs. Right? The person that's shooting the EMP should be in those little, I think they're called gazebos, the little like hut thingy. You should be in there shooting the EMP. You don't want to be up in front because if you do it once, the second time is going to be a lot harder because it's going to be focusing you now because it knows what you can do. So what you want to do is be in the gazebo. I think that's what they're called. I don't even know. But be in there and shoot it from far away. It'll go down. You tell everybody down, down, down. You guys go up, shoot it, knock it down. You go to the next gazebo, do the same thing, shoot it again. By the time you get to there, as long as you're running like 3-tier yellow, By the time you get there, you should have it back, or it should be like 5 seconds before you get it back, which your guys will be coming down, killing ads, going around. So by the time they get there, you should have it back. You shoot it, you're like down, down, down. As they're running up the stairs, you already took it down, so they just jump right up and kill it. And we always start from the left to the right. So that part is super simple. And then the section where you go and it's like, oh, is that a dragon? The tanker? That section is just DPS. When the drones come out, just really quickly focus them. You don't got to run away from them. Just focus them. As long as your stacks you've been keeping your stacks up and everything. If you go and both of you, like, you have 2 and 2, right? You have 2 on this side, 2 on that side, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. The both people that are on the right and the both people are on the left, shoot the same drone. Shoot the same drone. You'll DPS it real quick and then target the next drone, shoot it out. Even if you go down, as long as you have your hive, you don't get picked up and you'll be able to take that down, and then you just go back to doing what you were doing. If you do it right, the truck should still have like 80 to 90% of its health. Like, that way when you go to the door, you don't even got to stand in front of the door with a shield to block the damage. Everybody runs in with their DPS builds, gets right behind the guy's back because he's just going to be focusing the tank, and get far enough behind him so you guys can shoot out all the stuff that he has, like the tanks and shit like that. You can make them blow up and that gives them a bunch of damage. So you have like one person on each side that does that, and the other 2 focus his head. And you just put it, and like within like 30 seconds, he's dead, if not faster. And you ended that section with, like, the tanker still has like 80% health. It's super easy. It's not hard. It's just knowing what you're doing. And I know that some of you might be like, oh, like you've played it already and you're like, oh, this guy's saying not easy, but it's freaking hard or whatever. Until you find the rhythm for it, excuse me. Until you find the rhythm for it, it's complicated. But get into the rhythm of running things a certain way, and you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm saying it. I'm just saying, like, that's the way we do it, and we usually pass it goofing around anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. That's goofing around. That's not taking it serious. That's not like running very specific builds that are like for this very specific reason. And nah, they're just builds we have to have fun. And you could do it, like I said, 20, 25 minutes. It's not long. So you can run it twice in an hour, right? So just play and get used to doing the same thing. Learn your parts. If you want to be the guy that shoots the gun after it's been distracted or EMP'd, get better and better. Learn where you can hit it to knock it down faster. Learn what gun hits it harder. Whatever, you know, if you're the guy that's up there tanking the ads while the other person does that, figure out a way that you can run something to mess with the ads, right? Like, figure out how to do the best in the slot you're choosing to, the role you're choosing to take. And by the end of it, you're going to see that you're passing them like nothing too now. Because everybody's so used to doing this very specific thing that you're like, okay, I got this, I'm done. Like, it's not hard no more, right? The hardest part is like opening the box and getting the Ouroboros or whatever. Everything else is easy. And then, so now the raids, right? So that is, and I keep talking in front of the mic and not right on the mic. Or, yeah, in front of the mic, not behind the mic. So, one of the things for the raids that you should do if you're a new player, or if someone's trying to help you run through it, or if you need the EB and you are, God damn it, or if you are trying to help someone get an EB, right? You're trying to get the EB, you're trying to help someone get an EB, you're just trying to help someone do the raid or whatever. You're always going to have one person, sometimes 2, which is a little more difficult, but you usually have one person that takes control of the raid, right? Hopefully that person knows what they're talking about. And then you just do what they tell you, because they should know what they're talking about. If they don't know what they're talking about, there's usually a secondary person in the raid, and it happens every time, that's like, nope, that's not how you do it. You do it like this. That used to be the way you do it, but after the update, you do it like this. that doesn't work. And you know, like, and it's not necessarily the first person's fault. A lot of times, if they're trying to run something or whatever, it's been a while, or everybody just runs it different, because you, depending what groups you're running with, your stuff changes, and there is no right or wrong real way to pass the raid as long as you pass it, right? Some methods take longer. Some other methods are like speed runs and they go real quick, but they're very intense because you can't screw up anything. And it's kind of one of those things. But once you go in there, whoever decides to be the host of the raid, the person that's going to be telling you what you're doing, don't talk when they talk. That's super freaking rude. Do not talk when they talk. If you want to ask a question, wait till they're done and then ask them, because the answer to your question might be something that they're getting to. Right? So if you would have just waited and listened, you would have figured out, or you would have got the answer to your question. Now, if they don't answer your question, when they're done talking, then you're like, hey, quick question, right? A lot of the times when they're done talking, they'll also say, does anybody have any questions? And then boom, question time, right? You could ask away. What I do here, can you repeat what I do here? Where do the ads come from? Is there healing? Where's my ammo box? Like, ask all the questions you need to ask in that particular portion, you know, of the explanation. But don't interrupt people. Listen, just listen, you know? What was that? Like, there's a saying that says, like, wise men listen, foolish men speak, right? Because you learn more from listening than you do from talking. So just listen and kind of go with the flow. Even if you've never done it before, you get you should be getting a decent enough explanation to where it might take you 1 or 2 tries or 3, but eventually you'll get it. And don't worry about screwing up and dying. All the good people that help you run through raids, all the good ones, right? They will tell you if you mess up, it is fine. You've never done this. There's a lot of pressure. You're trying to learn. So learn. If you die, it is fine. Right? There are people out there, they're like, oh, you're dying too much, man. Like, I got to move you. I got to put you somewhere else. I got to blah, blah, blah. They're not trying to teach you how to run the raid. They're just simply trying to get you through the raid so they can say, oh, I helped so-and-so. Which is cool because they're technically still helping you, but you don't learn nothing from it. So just listen to what people are saying. And the biggest thing besides just listening is do what they're telling you to do. If they're telling you, when you get to, like, on the first raid, when you get to Boomer and there's the laptops, A, B, C, D. If they're telling you, you are in charge of D, when I say D, 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 right? Because a lot of times they'll repeat it 2 or 3 times to tell you what computer needs to be activated so that the nodes don't come back up. If they're telling you, you are in charge of D and you are in charge of the ads here, all you're doing is killing ads until your letter gets called. Once your letter gets called, abandon everything and go hit that button. Because if you're like, oh, I was trying to kill this ad, blah, 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 that little bit of time you took to kill that ad just made it so that you weren't able to hit that letter. Now the nodes go up. Now it's a problem. All because you were like, oh, I was just trying to be helpful. Right? And a lot of times that's 100% what it is. You don't know the section, you don't know. And that's why the good ones will teach you, like, yeah, totally get it. But when we run it again right now, just know, like, just completely abandon the fight. Go hit D, go hit A, go hit B, go hit C. Like, completely ignore the ads. They might be hitting you, they might be damaging you, whatever, right? As long as you're, like, within a certain amount of feet from the letter, you should be able to kill the ads. You don't need to go all the way to the doors. So then you just go and you shoot the people, and then when they call your letter, you go hit the letter, and boom, you're an expert. But if you don't listen to what was being told to you, you're going to mess up. And you're going to continue to mess up because you didn't pay attention. So they're going to explain it to you. But again, if you're not paying attention, it's just going to be like the first time. And you're not going to get it, and you're going to take forever, and you're going to start upsetting people because it's like you're being told to do this specific thing. We're trying to help you out. Why not help us help you, right? So just listen to what you're being told, pay attention, don't talk over people, and then ask questions. Whether they ask you, does anybody have any questions? Or it just gets quiet. As soon as it gets quiet and you don't hear no one talk, hey, so-and-so, real quick, you know, ABC question, like whatever your question might be. And they'll appreciate that. If you're asking, they will appreciate it, because they're going to be like, he didn't know and he asked. Instead of like, he didn't know, he didn't ask, and now we wiped. Right? And where listening and doing what you're told is very, very, very important is when you're doing Lucy and Buddy. There's different ways of doing it. There's like the one tap method where you just tap out Buddy and then you only have to do Lucy. There's another method where you shock everything. You shock everything. You hit them with the tip of the spear, and I can't remember the other thing. And then everybody fucking shoots them, and they go down with like 3 seconds. It's a little bit slower than the one tap method, but you kill both of them at the same time. That was the way that we were doing it for a while. Now that I'm running with Gunny and her people, they do one tap method, and it's super smooth and easy. When you're not doing those methods, and there's that bar that you have to keep both their healths inside of, if it goes too far back or too far forward, it throws them into this like a animation where they start shooting like crazy, and I think it's Lucy starts shooting like crazy, and then Buddy starts to pump a bunch of healing, and it starts healing them all the way. If you don't listen and you don't do what you're being told to do, that is going to take forever. But if you listen to what you're being told to do and you're paying attention to their health, they'll be like, okay, you're on Buddy, you're on Lucy, keep them even. And then you'll hear people that have done it enough to go, easy Buddy, easy Buddy. That means stop shooting at Buddy. Don't shoot him anymore, because you're going to knock it off that line that you have to keep them in, right? You're going to knock them off that. They're going to go too far forward or too far back, and then you're going to start that animation. You're going to have to start all over. So if you hear easy Buddy, or easy Lucy, tap your gun, pop, 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 until you see them getting evened out again. Once they get evened out again, then you start shooting, but you're paying attention, because if it happened once, if you over damaged Buddy, or you did too much damage to Buddy compared to Lucy, if it happened once, chances are it's going to continue to happen the rest of the way down. So you just got to pay attention, right? If you see that everybody's shooting, then stop shooting, because they're going easy Buddy, or easy Lucy, right? And you see that everybody's still shooting, stop shooting, because even just you not shooting at all will lower the DPS that's being placed on them, and therefore allow the other people that little extra bit of time to kind of catch up to where you're at with your dog, right? It's very simple, very easy, but it's also very, very easy to screw up. And there is teams and groups that I've played with when we've done the raid. All it takes is one miscommunication in that section, you're starting all over. And something that you should have knocked out like in a minute is now taking you like an hour, because no one's listening. And then you get to that point where you got them so close, and then someone overshot them, over damaged them, and went all the way back up. Hold on. Someone shot them somewhere, over damaged them, and that caused them to get all their health back. And you're like, oh my God, wow, we were so close. Why would you do that? And you start to get people's emotions involved when you do that. And then people don't start playing the way they should. And now you got people, oh man, we're doing too much damage to Buddy, which is my dog. I'm going to shoot Lucy to catch them up. But now you're doing damage on top of what everybody else was doing. And you're putting a lot more damage on Lucy than what the people doing damage on Buddy can do, because they lost your firepower. And if you do that, and another person from your team does that, and another person, depending how many people decide, well, I'm gonna start doing this because no one's listening, you're gonna make it worse. You're gonna make it so much worse. Unless you know exactly how to do it, you should never be shooting at both dogs. You should be shooting at your dog and just paying attention to what's being said. Very, very simple. Right? So, and that's the way it is for both raids. There's going to be sections where you're going to be playing, and as a new player or a person who's never run the raid, even if you're not a new player, if you're going somewhere to have someone help you pass the raid, help you get a gun, or anything like that, you're there asking for their help. But don't be a dick. Don't be like, oh yeah, I've played it, I know what I'm doing. Do you? Because you asked for help. Oh, when I used to run it with my team, this is how we used to do it. You're not with your team. You're playing with a whole new team that doesn't know how you play, doesn't know how your old team used to do it. They have their own methods. And you're there because they're trying to help you. So help yourself and just listen. Do what you're being asked to do, and don't do any more unless they ask you to do it anymore. If they see that you're good, they'll be like, oh man, you're like, your DPS is really good. Can you help this section when you have no ads? And now you start to build that trust with that group that knows that you are a player. Your actions will show them where they should be placing you, right? Like they'll be like, oh man, he's good enough to take this door on because he has really good DPS and he doesn't take a lot of damage. So I'm going to put him here, and that way I can use the guy who was there to go do another section that's difficult also. And now you're a bigger part of the team just by your actions and what you're doing. But when you go in there trying to run the raid the way you're used to running it, the way your group was used to running it, the way you've seen on videos that people run it, you're not helping anyone. You are messing it up for everyone. You're making stuff take longer. Just listen to what you're being told and do exactly that. If they tell you to do something and then it doesn't work for whatever reason, they can't blame you for it. You told me to do this. I did exactly what you did. If you want me to do something else, please tell me and I'll do that. And it'll never be your fault. But the minute that you start doing your own thing and not pay attention and trying to run it like if it was your raid, like you're gonna screw things up, or you're gonna screw things up, you're gonna make stuff take longer, and you're not gonna keep it pushing. You gotta keep it pushing. Like you got to keep pushing the ads so that they don't push back. You gotta kill them fast, you gotta hit them hard, you gotta be precise, and you gotta do what you're being told. That's like the biggest thing. If you listen to everything they told you, great. But if you're not applying that, then it made no difference. Because you listened to everything, but you ignored it all. So just be mindful, help them help you to run the raid the smoothest way that it can run. Whether it's the first raid, the second raid, whatever it may be. It doesn't really matter. Like, just listen to what you're being told. Do specifically what you're being told. And if stuff needs to be adjusted or changed, they'll tell you, and then you go from there. Don't try to be a hero. Don't overthink what you're doing, because I've been guilty of that. When I started playing with Miss Gunn and her people, the Up and Smoke people, when I started playing with her, I didn't know some of the methods and some of the ways that they would play the raid, and it took me a minute to kind of learn. And then I would do stuff, and they're like, no, don't shoot that person. We leave that person for so-and-so. I was like, okay. And I didn't understand why, but I didn't do it because I was being told not to do it. Right? And then later on, as we ran it again and again, and I started paying attention more to kind of what's going on, I was like, oh, that's why you don't do it, because it really screws up this if you do it. Right? Or like when you have to do the one tap method and you have to shoot them with the Scorpio, there's a lot of ways to screw that up, and I think I found them all, because I screwed that part up maybe 5 times already. Right? The last few times that we've done it, I have not screwed it up. The game bugged or whatever, and it did something weird and it didn't work, but that was not my end. I did exactly what I was being told, and I didn't do anything more. And the other times I was like, well, if I shoot Buddy and stack him, I got enough time to shoot Lucy and stack her. And apparently doing that screws that all up. You could only do one at a time. And then, boom, it didn't work. We had to do it the old school way. The next time we were running it, they're like, shooter, blah, 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 shoot Buddy, blah, blah, blah. I reloaded my gun and I ended up having 8 shots instead of the 7. I put all 8 shots into it. They're like, you overshot it. You're only supposed to do 7 because that last one throws everything off. Didn't know that. All right, but I'm over here trying to be helpful, trying to help out and get this done, you know, faster, smoother, and what I thought would be better. But no, because they've been doing it as a group already. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're asking you, do this. They didn't tell me do this and then ad lib at the end, whatever you want to do. They told me, do this. Can you do this? And here I am, yeah. And then screwing it up. And I felt bad. I felt horrible. I was like, that's me. I did that. That's me. I did this. And they're like, no, man, just do this. Just do that. Like, we didn't tell you to just do that because it throws it. And then they're explaining it to me. So I didn't know any of it. If I would have just have asked, they would have told me. But here I am trying to be helpful and screwing stuff up. And that's what I'm saying. Even me that I've been playing it for a while, and I have on the first raid, before it was reset, I was over 200 raid clears. And then now I'm at like, I don't know, 30, 40 clears or whatever. So like 200 and something clears. We used to play it all the time and then we just completely stopped. If we would have kept playing the way that we normally played, I would probably be way over like 2,000 raid clears by now. But we completely stopped. We started playing other stuff, and then I came back to the division and started playing again and just having fun. So when I'm telling you, like, even though you're trying to be helpful, if they didn't tell you to do something, don't do it, because it will screw something up. Like, there's a reason why they're being specific. Is that how you say it? I don't know. But there's a reason they're doing that. And it's because they've done it so much, they figured out all the little tiny things that could throw something off. And this right here is the way you do it to guarantee a successful completion, or a successful completion of that section. And when you add to that, you screw it up. So you don't do it. Just do exactly what you're being told. And this is when you're playing with anyone, like whatever group you decide to run with or whatever, like truly listen to what you're being told. Ask questions when you can, and then just do what you're being told. Because again, if you do what you're being told and it doesn't work, it's not your fault. It cannot be blamed on you. Hey, you told me to kill all the ads from this door. That's what I did the whole time. You never told me to do this. Oh man, my bad. Can you also do that? Yep, got you now. So now you know. Next time, like, they didn't want this, they wanted this and that. Right? But you cannot be blamed for it because you were never told. But now if you're told and you don't do it, you know, now that's on you. So for the raids and stuff like that, you just gotta, a lot of the key things is listen, ask questions, don't overthink what you're doing, and just do what you're being asked to do. Those are the best ways to help those people who are trying to help you run the raid. Right? And then when you get to the end, if you need the EB or whatever the raid guns are, like any of them, when you get it, say thank you. And don't just say thank you to the person, like the content creator that helped you run it, or the clan member who invited you to run it. Say thank you to everyone, because you wouldn't have got there if it wasn't for everyone's the way that everyone contributed. You know, so thanks everybody. Thank you, or whatever. Because I've seen it when we used to run the raids, and we used to run people through the raids all the time. The common thing that would happen is you would get one person to come in, and then he'll be like, "Oh man, I need the EB." We would get on the EB. We dropped up to 7 EBs for someone once on stream. Everybody got a fucking EB except for the person who needed it, and then we gave them to her like, pick the one you want, break down the others, use it to re-roll your whatever. They're all yours. Like, we don't need them. We got them. Right? He was like, oh, thanks. Right? Thank you. And we were like, cool. Very, very exciting. Then we went and we were playing with another person. And we got to the end. We got 2 of them. We dropped them down. He grabbed them both and then dipped. Didn't say anything. Never played with us again. And that shows your true nature of what you're doing. So that's going to be it for this one, which was all PvE. And then on the next one, I'm going to bring some people over, some guests, and we're going to talk about PvP, like stuff that you guys can do to better your chances at successfully winning fights and stuff like that in PvP. There's a lot of intricate little things that you kind of need to learn to really play over there. So these people should be able to help out and give you a better understanding of what you're getting into and why certain things you need to do before you even kind of think of taking on a fight. So yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you on the next one.